Foggy was going to argue that, whoa, due to the unique nature of the Red Hook port location, no crime was committed in the state of New York or even the United States of America. Therefore, the court has no jurisdiction to prosecute.
What?
Wait, there's a photocopy. Red Hook Charter 1855. Holy crap, it's a free port.
Exempt from the jurisdiction of the city and the country, for that matter.
What would that have to do with the Fisks?
Well, Vanessa has used the port to store art for years now. I mean, if it's a free port, she's doing it without customs, without taxation, without fear of seizures.
She could launder money legally.
Right. And now our mayor is building a new complex there. This charter would make it untouchable. Gambling, smuggling, you name it, all of it legal.
God, Foggy had no idea what he stumbled into. He just thought it was a truck robbery.
No. This is about the Fisks building their own city-state.
Hey, panelists, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And I'm Becky.
And this is going to be a spoiler-full podcast about season 1 of Daredevil Born Again on Disney+. This episode, we are covering the finale, episode 9. So, who wants to take the title and the synopsis?
I'm going to say, Steve, go for it.
I'll take it.
Welcome back, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be back. Yeah, we are covering Daredevil Born Again season 1. And we can say season 1 because we know they're filming season 2. But season 1, episode 9, Straight to Hell. And the synopsis is Mayor Fisk becomes Mayor Kingpin and Daredevil is unleashed as chaos takes over the city. Unleashed from his hospital bed? Maybe the Punisher was unleashed on the city.
Wow.
Oh, yes, he was.
Ever. Man,
Yeah.
I was watching some of that.
Yeah,
like,
Becky wound up realizing, oh, no, this is what Frank Castle really is. And this is how the podcast actually started, everybody.
Yeah.
For all you listeners out there who are new, we started with Punisher. And wow, we got Frank Castle back and hard. And wow.
For real.
John Berthal always delivers.
There's nothing he can do. He can do no wrong. You could, I guarantee you could do a remake of Mary Poppins and make him the chimney sweep or whatever, and he would be amazing.
I just rewatched Baby Driver while I was on vacation. And forgotten how good he was, and how John Hamm, I've forgotten how just this is a whole different movie, but
he's
how
dashing though.
He is, but how he's just nasty in that film, like nasty mean. So
have you watched the new show that he's on?
No, not yet. The Friends and Neighbors.
Oh yeah, I love that show. I actually have to watch that episode soon. No one showed up today, so
I need you to send me those.
Becky's
is that on Apple? That's on Apple TV, right?
Yeah, it's on Apple TV Plus. Everybody.
But anyway, back to Daredevil. Back to Daredevil. Season 1, episode 9. I really enjoyed it. I don't mean to take away from anybody. I really enjoyed it. I was glad to see the Punisher in full Punisher mode, not this mountain man looking bearded, long-haired, when
we last saw Frank, he was like all grizzled, had a beard. He was like, I don't know. He's listening to the police radio, and
he's living in his basement fallout shelter or whatever.
He's a prepper,
looking like a hermit. And I was so glad when he came into, when they showed him in Matt's apartment, and Matt said, this did make me chuckle when Matt said, "Oh, shaving a haircut, was that just for me?" And I went, "Aren't you blind? How do you know?" I guess he could tell by he didn't hear the hair rustling. It was like, how did you know he got a shave and a haircut? But
I think it's, I don't shave. I mean, I shave my legs, but like we don't use aftershave. And I think most men use aftershave. So he probably had a certain scent that Matt must.
Yeah. And maybe there's enough of the aura that he can kind of see from the radar looking thing. But I did think it was funny in whichever episode it was when he was following the cop and he almost gets hit by a car because we reminded that, oh yeah, he is blind.
Yeah.
He is still blind.
I forgot.
But no, it was so good to see Frank Castle back and in all his glory of being belligerent and killing people, and Matt trying to stop him from. Will you stop? Why? Don't do that. Oh, what, like this, and just shoot some guy in the head.
It's Frank being Frank, and they are complete opposites if you think about it. It's like Tango and Cash at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I always think that is a perfect analysis of their relationship. Matt is more on the good side, goody two shoe side, whereas Frank was always, I'm going to go the more extreme, but do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Matt's like, no. And it's like, it's always great to have them together. And
their chemistry is amazing. And I'm still, now that we're done covering the pit, I can devote a little bit more extra free time to catching up on the original Daredevil that was on
season
Netflix.
3.
So because I haven't seen a lot of those two together at this point.
And Punisher too, by the way. You need to watch Punisher.
Let me get through Daredevil, and then
your husband's gonna be mad at Mark. Why is Mark sending you all these shows?
Oh, I love it. I just feel bad. It's just like I'm not ready. I can't download all these yet. But I haven't seen a lot of their chemistry together, and I wrote down when we get to quotes. A lot of my quotes are the two of them talking to each other. They're just, I loved seeing them together. It was so fun.
The rapport is great with them. Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. It was great. It was really, it was a great season finale, and it got me like even more excited. Like $20 as I stay up tonight, probably finishing season 2 of the original, because there's so much I know that happened.
Oh yeah, when you get to Scott Glenn playing Stick, that's going to be just, I think that's season 2, or that might be season 3.
What are you doing?
So no, it's not spoiling anything for her. She'll get there.
I could tell there was a lot that happened in this episode that was a callback. A lot of it I understood with Karen and Foggy and Josie and those guys, but there were some things that I know I don't know, and I can't wait to see. Oh, okay, that's a callback to something, mainly with Poindexter. He's, all that's going to be new. So I'm very excited, but I loved it. And I am so glad we're going to get another season.
Same,
absolutely. And I'm glad they're filming it now, because that means we'll get it sooner rather than later. Hopefully 2026
in March,
not
probably.
too deep. Yeah. Hopefully, the same kind of time frame. Hopefully we'll get it early enough, but yeah, I have to digress for a minute, and I have to ask somebody, can somebody explain did you understand this part of Red Hook or whatever is not part of the United States, so you can do whatever you want? And can you explain that to me? Because I'm still confused about that.
Because it's offshore. Anything that's on the seas is kind of open seas. It's not part of the land. So they're allowed to claim it on their own if it's off the land. So if it's in open seas, it's available.
And that's the thing, I didn't think it was legally open sea. It's a port.
It's not open sea. It's a port. And the way I understood it is a port. And because it is a port that is not attached, not attached to New York, as to say, it has its own. It's
designation.
Like its own. Yes, and so it's not zoned, I guess.
Correct.
It's not zoned, so therefore the country there's no laws there. Honestly, I think it was a plot point. a bit of a stretch. I don't because usually stuff like that it happens on open seas.
Right. Like Mark was saying, like if they 15 miles out into the ocean, I could get it. But this wasn't, I was like, it was something about it was never emancipated into the city. And I was like,
it was part of that whole situation where it was not emancipated. So it's its own open port, very similar to open seas time, where like you could do gambling where it was illegally on land, but in this case they could do whatever they want.
Okay.
So, I think they kind of adapted it a little bit so that we could have that plot point as to why Foggy died.
Yes.
And why Vanessa and Fisk are doing what they're doing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it seemed a bit of a stretch. I understood a little bit of it, but I'm with you. It's like, okay, I don't fully, is that real? Right. But also I'm like Matt getting out of the hospital and going and fighting a gajillion people when he literally just one arm got shot.
Yeah.
He's lost blood and he's gotten shot, and you could see, like, there was a couple times when you saw him like have his arm kind of up, and this is visually this is great for the podcast. People can see where where they showed him like kind of cradling his arm a little bit, to where he was only fighting with one arm. So I at least appreciated they tried but at the same time, you're right, Becky. He's like doing all sorts of stuff and moves and flips. And I'm just like,
he fell out of a building onto a car and he just got shot, and she just sticks a Band-Aid on him, and she's like, yeah, it looks fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. There's a little bit, but a very comic booky kind of stuff.
I know. I love it.
I still loved it. Yeah.
Same. It did not take away anything from it, but I did write in my notes whenever we get to that part is, how is he doing all this when he just got shot?
Yeah. I was, but I love it at the end of the episode, Karen kind of tells him, no, you can't go, he wants to go take on all these guys in this area that's no laws. And she's like, no, you can't go. There's an army down there. You'll die. And I love, we get that line. And it's the only line really that sticks in me that I didn't record any lines, was when he says, yeah, we need our own army. And I was very, very, there's a lot of setup for the next season, which
sounds excited. Like Defenders.
Yeah. Defenders kind of thing. Like maybe we're going to get Luke, maybe we're going to get Luke Cage, we're going to get Coulter, we're going to get Christian Ritter, or are we going to get Jessica Jones? There
was rumors about that formulating about this season, and that they would make an appearance. We didn't get those appearances, but I think season 2 would probably point that out. Mike Coulter obviously lost all the muscle, but God love him. He will put it on.
Yeah.
And Kristen Ritter has been working, as we all know, she's been filming in New York City and has been filming for the next Dexter movie show. And
Resurrection.
Yeah. So she's been involved with that. So I think Kristen Ritter is going to be more involved probably within the next Daredevil season. And we might get a Defenders show.
Or at least get some episodes with more than just one.
Exactly.
One hero.
Yeah.
So,
and I look forward to that. Whether or not we get an Iron Fist is another story, everybody.
I was unclear also, and Becky, you mentioned Bullseye. Did we see him at the end?
Yep.
Again, because I was trying to watching it for the second time, and so we did see him after he shot at Fisk.
Yeah, he was in Matt's apartment when they were doing that brilliant job of them.
It was a montage
saying we need an army.
Montage. Okay,
and they're going through the faces that are at Josie's and Frank and all all these people. Heather, Fisk. They're doing all the, like you said, montage. He was standing in Matt's apartment looking at the broken glass, and that is a handsome man. Wow. Yes.
Okay.
Woo. When Vanessa showed up to see him in jail, because I didn't pay that much attention to him before because but I just was like, oh, look at his face. He's doing a lot more acting with his face than he was in that first courtroom scene.
That he did.
It's paying him more attention to him because he's doing more, and I'm learning more about him, which is why I can't wait to get back into the earlier episodes. But yeah, he's not bad to look at, but I feel bad for him.
Yes.
Because there's obviously some kind of history there. I'm not saying his actions are good, but Vanessa really exploited him.
Oh, she did. Yeah.
And I don't know. I want to take back my hashtag Team Vanessa that I said at the start of this season.
And I was wrong. She made it all the way to the end, and she's back with Kingpin. They're at the end. They're sharing dinner next to the blood spattered, white rabbit in a snowstorm painting.
And she's staying in the red dress. She's the devil.
Yep. And he's got his white suit on. We see he's fully Kingpin. He smashes that guy's head. Oh, it was so gross. I couldn't watch it the second time.
It's classic Daredevil at that point. It's going back to the Netflix show.
We talked about that the last couple of episodes, how they're really embracing that otherworld Daredevil gore.
Yeah,
they're not holding
brutality
back anymore. So kudos to them for really.
Yeah, we got a lot of F words in this last episode.
Yeah.
I was really surprised at Disney. I was like, whoa, this
is more of an adult show more than anything. And it's showing its roots from the original Netflix series that spawned 3 seasons?
Or 3 seasons. 3 seasons.
So, and Netflix. Then one Defender show, and how brutal it could be, and same thing with Punisher, and it's like, oh, no holds barred at this point. So that's why Disney has that. For you subscribers out there, that's why they have that adult version where it's out there, and you kids can't watch it. But a lot of us who are Gen Xers or older, we would literally be like, oh my God, this is what it was like in the comics, but even more so. And that's you can embrace and understand the story content, which I love, and I'm glad that they're doing this, and I'm loving that. And thank you, Disney, for doing that, because we literally were denied it for how many years after you took Netflix over.
Yep. Yeah. So it was good. It was good to see that those fighting scenes, particularly with Punisher and when he's doing his thing and the violence.
And Frank just going off, and even Matt is like, stop, Frank. And he's like shooting guys, and
I mean, through the wall. He's like, whatever. I do not care where you are, what you're doing. I am going to, like, that when he came in, when the fight first started, and he shot that guy through the window, through the head, and I rewound that for a sec because I was like, wait, what? And then I regretted rewinding that because I was like, oh, he's got no face anymore. That was intense. And then, when he decides to leave, and I don't know, were they waiting on him, or did he purposely seek them out to confront them?
When he gets caught, I wasn't sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that because there was a couple parts where I kind of zoned out a little bit, and I was like, "Oh wait, what's happening now?" So I'm not sure if they caught up with him or if he, because I remember he's in the apartment, and he and Matt, they fall down, like you said, onto the car.
Yeah,
and then he and Matt part ways, and then Matt goes with Karen. And Frank goes off on his own. I wasn't sure. I wasn't exactly clear on how the task force caught up to him.
Yeah, because it seemed like he was listening to the scanner, and I feel like Karen telling him, you act like you don't care, but I can tell that you do.
Yes.
And then he heard something. Maybe I need to go back and watch it again, but he heard something on the police scanner.
He did.
And I couldn't tell if it was you know what? I do care. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to fight these horrible criminals, basically. And so he went out and sought them out. But then I was like, maybe second guessing myself. Okay, maybe they knew where they found, I don't know. Maybe they were waiting for him. But, I'm leaning towards his conscience kicked in and he went to go help with the fight.
Well, this is what I got out of it. Frank was always aware of what was going on based upon the scanner and everything else, listening to the hubbub from the police scanners. He knew that they were looking and seeking him out. He just didn't know. And it just so happened that at that point, after that encounter with Matt, they just took action because they were following him. And he was like, oh, well, I was expecting this. And then literally he was captured, tortured, beat, and him reaming them out verbally about the misuse of his moniker of the skull and using that. And then
calling them clowns, saying you're all a circus.
Yeah, he's like, you don't know. He's like, you don't admire me. Like, why?
Yeah,
like you have no idea what
I do. And he just takes them out and does what he has to do. And it's just Frank doing what Frank does. And they did not know who they were dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta love Johnny Bernthal for doing what he does. And God love him. You know, I just love how his representation of the character and what he does within it and showing the true humanity in it and understanding. But there's a little bit of inhumanity in Punisher, is the way that he winds up dismissing these people and killing them.
Yeah, but I could see in where his mind is on that is that he's not out there just, killing whoever pisses him off. He's killing
for a reason,
going after people who are criminals, and now it's a group of criminals that have taken his moniker, what he stands for, and they're using it in a way that's not cool. So I don't blame him for wanting to go and take that back and tell these people this is not how this is going to do. This is not how we're going to do this.
Yeah. For those of you who have not been following along, we're not going obviously chronologically ordered within the episodes. So just to let you guys know, we're just pointing out our views. So if you haven't watched the episode, please go back, watch it, listen to our conversation, just so that way you're like, they're all over the place. I don't know what's going on. I didn't watch the episode yet. So, the points that I have that I did like within the episode, and overall I did love the episode, everybody. Seeing Vanessa, we know that she was the one that spawned everything, put the hit out for Poindexter and got Poindexter out of prison, and then he was set as an assassin to kill Foggy and Ben Cafaro. Mm-hmm. And a lot of you comic book readers out there will understand, because there was an issue number 88, The Secret Life of Foggy Nelson, and where it was a whole thing in that particular issue where he faked his own death. We were all looking forward to that. That was something that I thought would happen within this, but it didn't happen. Maybe it will come up season 3, we don't know, but it had the whole countdown, the heartbeat dropping, Matt hearing it, going crazy, doing something within the issue. But in this case, we didn't get that. But the way they were able to do that within the first episode was perfect and unique. But the fact that Vanessa pinpointed and created this assassination hit with Poindexter was amazing. And we see everything coming together. Literally, everything is starting to come full point in the story and what happened, we all know. And that's what I really did enjoy about that in that first scene, because he had to sign his name and he had to use a felt pen because obviously they can't give him a real pen. And then on top of that, the old Mulvaney's was away from Matt to know what was going on with Foggy at the time, because he was celebrating a win. And him and Karen have that conversation when they're going through all the files. And then you realize this, and that's when they go through the whole Red Hook, like, information of why it would be legal and everything else. And then even Karen even stated that it was. Now, mind you, we've had Karen Page in 3 episodes total, if you think about it.
2 or 3. Was she beyond episode 1? I think it was just these 2, just episode 1 and episode 9. I don't think we had her. I think we had her voice.
The trial happened in episode 1, right?
Yeah. And we had her voice. I think we heard her. We might have heard her voice. Leaving a message about returning to San Francisco.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that was episode 1 or episode 2, but I really was glad to see her come back. I was a little heartbroken, and I don't know where the Dr. Heather Glenn, MattMurdock relationship is going to go, for the fact that when he woke up in the hospital, the first name that he said was Karen, not Heather. He says Karen first, and then he realizes that no, it's not Karen, it's Heather is there. And so, kind of after that, we kind of see them kind of split, and she then ends up going to Kingpin, and they had this argument, or was that in episode 8? Anyway, they had that argument about her working with, or Kingpin going to see her because of her connection to him. Mm-hmm. And then, the end of the episode, Kingpin makes her what do you call her? Commissioner of mental health.
I mean, the interaction with the two of them in the hospital, I really was watching that closely. And, first, obviously he calls her Karen, which is like the biggest mistake a man can make, is calling you by someone, calling your girlfriend some other woman's name. But did you notice how immediately Kristen jumps in and Heather's just sitting in the corner? Mm-hmm. I think she realizes at that point she will never be number one or top priority in his life, and she's like, I think it's best if I just go. So that was some really great directing and acting on her part, to take us through, with very little dialogue, to take us through where she's going and where her mind clicked, and then ending up going and working for Fisk. But I kind of wonder, the way they included her in his army speech, I think she's probably going to end up being a good guy.
Yes, I do believe that myself.
Yeah, and I didn't recognize all the people that were in the bar in Josie's there at the end when he was talking about that. And it was really good to see Cherry, because I was really thinking we hadn't seen Cherry in like 2 or 3 episodes.
Well, we saw him last episode, I believe.
Did we? I don't.
Yeah, in episode 8.
Yeah,
we did.
They got in an argument.
Matt and him got into an argument. Yeah,
I watched 7 and 8. Yeah, really quickly. And I only watched
Matt was Daredevil again. He was mad.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, because I watched 7 and 8 very quickly when I got back from vacation, so that I could get caught up and get to episode 9. So I was really thought we had not seen him in a while, and I was just, where's he been? And so seeing him in the bar was really good to know that, okay, he's still there with him and stuff. But and
I love how he walked out as Daredevil.
Yes,
and
exactly.
outed
That's what I was gonna say.
In front of because there's one of the ladies was the detective that Fisk had been working with Fisk, and she's realizing this man is not right.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very big statement for him to walk out as Daredevil, as himself, but and let them know that.
Yeah. So, you still there?
Yeah, I looked like I froze, didn't I?
I
was going to say something after that, but then I was like, well, no, that. I'm glad he walked out as that and did that.
Yeah, same here. Matt exposing himself as Daredevil.
That's cool.
That was very cool. And I always said this, and I always thinking it in the back of my head. Cherry, if you think about it, and Becky, you'll probably get this. Remember Joey Pantaleone's character as the reporter in the original Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck?
Yes.
Okay. Cherry reminds me of that character. So it gives me that aspect of that. And Joey Pants and I were actually talking about that at one point at a convention. And Pants was like, he goes, yeah, I didn't really know what the character was. I just did what I did, and I just played it as who I was. And me knowing Matt and knowing Daredevil and then kind of cluing in 2 and 2. And I think that's what Cherry is. It's literally Matt's way of connecting to the real world with somebody who is in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I really think that for the fact that Cherry's somebody he could work with, but also somebody that understands him as a person, as MattMurdock, as well as Daredevil. And
I think too, with Cherry seeing the extent of what Fisk has done, is now understanding that, okay, whether we like it or not, Daredevil is needed. And I am going to sit here and shut the F up and you tell me how I can help.
Right. Yeah. I was really, like I said, I'm really looking forward to the next season to see how this is all going to play out. And I'm excited to see where they take it and what new avenues we're going to get to see with, like I said, if we get to see new heroes, other heroes or not. Yeah. But it's really set up well for the next season, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, same here. There was a lot of callbacks of their Punisher at certain points, especially with the bullet casings from the bloodshed, and you see the Punisher symbol on there. That's how Frank was like, oh, that ain't me, I don't do this. And I thought that was pretty cool, and him, he had to take it out on those guys.
I thought it was interesting too. Where did the grenade come from? Because
dude called for backup right before Matt punched him and kicked not punched him. He almost broke his hand, I think.
Yeah.
So when he called for backup, I think I swear, what are they called? The task force.
The task force
was on its way up, and someone threw a grenade in there, which was ballsy because they basically took out half their people too.
I was gonna say, because that was what my point was Daredevil stops Punisher from killing the guy who killed White Tiger, or who we're pretty sure is the guy that killed White Tiger. He stops him from killing him, but then this grenade comes in and blows up the whole apartment anyway. So the guy ends up dying anyway. I was just kind of like, wow, that's kind of interesting. They didn't, like you said, Becky, like half the task force gets taken out by their own people.
But they don't seem to care.
They
do not seem to care about each other or law or an order. So it doesn't surprise me that they would just, at the risk of, with the reward would be, we took out Daredevil and Punisher, so the rest of y'all, sorry about your luck. You just you're and they would be painted out to be heroes.
Yeah. That was a whole nother thing that we're going to see again. How it's going to play out in season 2 with Fisk coming on and declaring martial law in New York, putting this 8 p.m. curfew in place. Yeah. And what is that going to mean, long term for the story that we see? The power does come back on. And that was another thing I was a little unclear about. Fisk orchestrated that whole
Yes.
blackout, right? Yeah, that's
Yep.
what we're
Yes,
supposed
he
to
did.
understand. He orchestrated that whole thing just so that there would be chaos in the streets, so that he could then push his safer streets initiative with this task force,
Yes.
and stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
right.
he went. That was a very interesting conversation that I really enjoyed between him and Vanessa after they're done. After Matt's shooting,
Mhm.
and or Matt saves him, and it's obvious Vanessa wants to tell him she's the reason that Poindexter was out, and it's like, it doesn't matter. I already know. And I unconditional love, man. Those two,
Those two for sure.
crazy as they
Yeah.
are, they really do love each other.
It's a crazy love routine right there.
Yeah.
With those two. Yeah, I get it.
And I like how he explained his bigger picture to her, finally making her acknowledging, I see what you did.
Mhm.
And now I became the mayor because I love this city. And what does he say? I ran to save the city, but other opportunities have presented themselves. So now that we know he was slowly beginning to embrace Kingpin, he's gone full back into it. And
Yeah.
she looked so elated that that was going to happen. And then when he's raging to his staff about the attempt on his life and wanting to seal off the city, basically. And, Sheila keeps trying to tell him, no, this isn't how it works. You can't do this. And he says, a dead hero is better than a live vigilante.
Yep.
I was like, this guy, he's laser focused. He cannot think of anything else other than power. And the thing keeping him from power is other men doing things good in the name of good. And he cannot handle that. He scared a lot of freaking people.
Yeah, he did. And I have to show a comparison to him amongst Tony Stark. Because Tony at one point wanted to put a suit of armor around the world of what happened. If you remember back in Avengers, remember he goes at an end game, and when he comes back and he's with Nebula, he goes, "Don't you remember? I wanted to put a suit of armor around the world." Now, mind you, it's like his obsession to protect the world. Fisk is doing the same thing, but in the opposite parallel of trying to control the world for his own given reasons. So these two are the same. I'm wondering if this will be happening the same way in Avengers Doomsday, because we're going to get, of all things, RDJ as Dr. Doom, but he looks just like Tony Stark. But I'm looking at that and the parallels, and it's so wild. It's just like, wow, what story are they telling us? They're showing us two different aspects of what it was. Tony was very much aware and wanting to protect the world, but sacrificed himself. But yet Fisk won't even sacrifice himself. He'll sacrifice everybody else. And to give power to himself over these people. It's so weird and it's so strange. But if you listeners have any thoughts and my little thought about that, let us know.
Well, and the hold that Fisk has over Buck. I mean, Buck doesn't flinch when he says,
"Oh no,
make sure Matt doesn't survive his injuries." And then Sheila, poor Sheila, I hope I don't really know. I'm mad at Sheila, but I also understand if she hadn't done what she did, it probably would have been her head popped like a zit. But she sold Gallo out, and but she was scared to death. I mean, what do you do when you're dealing with an absolute madman? what do you do there? So that was, I feel like she was kind of in a tough position, but David, my God, having the conversation with that group of whatever, the city council or whoever it was, he was talking to, man, he is
I know what
slid
you're
right
talking about.
into that dirty villain role perfectly.
Yeah, he's one to keep an eye on, I think. That character
Daniel
there
Blake. I remember that court scene and what he was doing and trying to manipulate, talking about the Swiss bank accounts and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm that character is he's is it Gandolfini?
It was James Gandolfini's son.
Yeah, it's really it's gonna be cool to see how he changes, how he gets, it's to see where he comes out in the next season. I'm gonna be interested to see that character.
Same here.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about the kind of end credit scene where we get where obviously Frank is going to escape from his little cage, and he
talks to the guy and he goes, "Oh, your name's this."
That's
amazing.
That's a good strong name. Come here closer. Come in a little closer.
Yo, if you're from Jersey, okay.
It was just brutal. I don't know how he's going to get out of the cage, and then how he's going to get from the cage but we might see that or we might not. But just to know that he's still the Punisher, even if you've got him in a cage.
My first thought was he was going to use that guy's bones to pick the locks on his. I swear that is where my head went.
Yeah.
No, Frank isn't that bad.
Really? I don't know. I saw some things tonight, okay? I saw some things.
Wow, you're thinking really in-depth, girl.
Well, Poindexter used his tooth.
There
he
you
pulled
go.
out of his own face to kill the guy. I'm not saying Frank won't use some guy's bone to pick a lock.
Oh my God. Did you guys see Novocaine?
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh my goodness, that was funny. It's like he used his. You guys got to watch the movie. It's hilarious. I love Jack Quaid.
I think that's all I got. I think that's all I have for this.
I have so much more.
I didn't take a lot of notes because
Same here.
I've got points that I think you all will enjoy engaging in, if that's okay.
Please, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I want to talk about Karen.
Okay.
And I was not expecting to see Karen. Mark and I had talked last week about our hope that she'll be in season 2. Mm-hmm. And I did not. That was an absolute complete surprise to me. I'm not a Marvel connoisseur like a lot of people are. So maybe some saw that coming, but I thought I cheered and I wrote, if you could see my notes, it's like that big in capital letters, Karen with 5 exclamation points. But I thought it was funny when she shows up and Matt calls shotgun.
Yeah.
What was it? Matt or was it Frank?
No, it was Matt.
No, Matt called shotgun, and Frank was like, I can't remember what his reply was to it, but something about sitting in the back or something like that. But that was a funny moment. I loved the fact that like Matt was kind of angry with her, but at the same time he understood because he says, what did he asked her? Well, you called Frank, and she's like, well, yeah, I heard that Poindexter escaped, and so I called Frank, and then I got on a plane. And he's like, but you didn't call me, and she's like, yeah, no, you wouldn't want me to call you. Yeah, I mean,
she's like, I had to have somebody watch over you.
Yeah, I had to go around you. I couldn't call you for it, so she called Frank. I love that she still had that contact. Yes. With Frank Castle. However, she was able to
because Frank was off grid.
Yeah. But I love that just that little subtle thing that she was already keeping. She was keeping tabs on stuff.
And it led to a really great conversation that they had in the storage room looking for the documents, where he talks about how he heard the pitter patter, so to speak, of her heartbeat when Frank is there. And she kind of brushes it off as just adrenaline. And then she flat out asks him, "Did you hear mine when I saw you?" And he's like, "Must have just been adrenaline." So I need those two crazy kids to
get together,
bang it out. Just bang it out, man. Whatever happens later is fine.
I really thought they were gonna kiss. I kept thinking, are they gonna kiss? And then she like kisses his forehead or something like that, or he kisses forehead. I was just like, oh, come on, really?
Just give it to us already.
Give it to us.
Or each other, however you want to do it. Let's see. I really liked the music change when Buck was headed toward Matt's room, and the way it got all kind of like almost what I like to I could carousel-ish elevator music, but it got that like creepy.
Yeah, it was killing me softly. He had an instrumental version of "Killing Me Softly" that they then segued into the vocal. It
was like a music thing that you hear in an elevator, and then just segues into it. Yeah,
I love the coffee jokes between Matt and Frank, and I hope that in season 2, every time those two are together, there's something about coffee. Sorry, I'm just going through.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Because like I said, I'm kind of tapped out.
Same here.
I'm loving responding to what you got.
All right, so I guess it's gonna get to the end. I have a lot of notes on the ending, so I'm just gonna read through them, and y'all tell me. I'll stop when I get to where I draw lines here. So first we have Matt and Karen, and Steve, you touched on it earlier, where she convinces him not to go in there because if he goes in there, he's going to kill her. He's going to die. And she's got to be smart. And I'm so thankful he listened. That would have been a traditional superhero movie moment for him to have jumped up and gone all full, crazy. And I'm glad that didn't happen. But that led to one of the greatest conversations where he says, "I'm going to take back this city, Karen." And she said, "Where do you start?" And Steve, you were saying earlier, he said, we need an army. And then he goes into talking about how he thought God took his sight when he was a kid, but then he realized that it was a gift. And I loved Matt admitting that it wasn't the mask that made him better, but he needed the mask to believe that he could be better. I thought that was a very big admit for him to finally come to this conclusion after he's been at war with himself and Daredevil as two separate entities. I feel like at that point, hence him walking into Josie's as Daredevil, I feel like they finally become one person. I really liked that. Anything to add there?
No, I think you're right. I really like that when they showed him as a kid kind of staring out the window, and then it like you said, cuts into him realizing that it wasn't his sight wasn't taken away. He was given a gift. So I really like, I totally agree with you.
And then the last I have is the way, and they've done it almost almost at the end of every episode this season, where they've gone back and forth between Fisk and Matt and the good and evil that are going on. And they did it in this episode as he's having this conversation with, I'm assuming, with Karen. And it's cutting back and forth between Fisk and Vanessa walking through all those cages full of people. Disgusting people. And then they sit down to their dinner. But here's a part of Matt's speech where he says, I can't see my city, but I can feel it. This is our city, and we can take it back together. We resist, rebel, and rebuild because we are the city without fear. And then it zooms in on him, and the little red hue comes in behind him after it went through all of the different people in the city, both on Fisk's side and on his side. I just loved that ending, and it gave me kind of a little chill, like, ooh, okay, that was very beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yes, and very artistic. Yeah.
It reminded me, sorry to mix DC and Marvel, but it always reminds me of the end of the good Batman movies where they're having their little talk or something's being said profound, and then the music crescendos. And I love that song, by the way, which is Radiohead, everything's in its right place. Good choice. And then Batman standing above the city, being the protector. That was like, Batman's my favorite superhero, so that's why I referenced that. But it just gave me that kind of energized, exciting feeling that's like, I cannot wait to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Very
exciting.
Very exciting, and it's like they know how to land the ending on a cliffhanger to the point of where keeping us on the edge so it can come back next season. And I just love that.
And I think it's going to be strong.
Yeah.
The writers and directors really earned my trust this season, big time.
Yeah, this was pretty much almost, if you think about it, an experiment, because this was the first of many Netflix shows that were transitioned from Netflix to Disney Plus. And everybody was kind of leery about it for the fact that Netflix kind of went their own direction, went a rated R kind of feel with their storytelling and Marvel-based stuff with Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist, and Luke Cage. So you had those 5. And a lot of people are just like, oh, well, can they replicate it? Can they do this? They did, but they had to do the same build-up. For the most part, for this whole season, if we saw Charlie in the Daredevil costume in the very first episode, and then we don't get to see him in the Daredevil costume again until the last episode, if you'll recall. And then we get to see Johnny Bernthal in the Punisher outfit in the last episode as well, even though we got Frank Castle in episode 8. Or 7 and 8, actually. And then,
I really liked that they didn't push Daredevil until the end. I think that I know some of the comments that I've read is people were like, "Where's the suit? This is,
correct." Yeah, they
could have taken it in a Matt saves the world one case at a time scenario.
Correct.
But I think the way they chose to delay that gratification and build it up made that very last moment of, him standing being seen through the window at Josie's it just made it so much better. I think they did the right thing there.
It was full circle at that point, him at Josie's, because that's where the episode started off and where we lost Foggy. So, it's so sad, but we're getting more. And we look forward to what we get in season 2, everybody.
Yep.
That's all I have left are quotes. Thank you for letting me get through all those.
You already took mine. I had that in there about what Matt had to say about the city and everything else.
Sorry.
You went out of city in fear. No.
I
It's
think
perfectly.
I wrote half the script down.
You probably did.
I got a lot of quotes, so I may say I've got more.
If you got more, go ahead.
Please.
I don't have any quotes other than that one thing, and you could go all you want.
Steve?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, we have when Vanessa is in talking with Poindexter, that whole thing broke my heart. It really did. I've never felt so bad for an assassin in my life. She says she's talking about, she wants him to take out Foggy, and he makes just so sad. And he says, we never can escape the past, do we? And then she says, your history with my husband isn't a part of this. And he says he's always a part of this. Mm-hmm. And that made me very much want to go back to find out what that history is, because I don't know it. I'm excited. When Frank and Matt are in Matt's apartment and Frank says new costume, what do they call you, Nightgown Man?
Nightgown Man. Yeah, that was funny.
That made me laugh. And then he asks Matt, why did you take a bullet for that asshole? And Matt just says, that is a good question.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. I liked it when Gallo was talking to Fisk and he says out loud, finally somebody says out loud, you never stopped being Kingpin. And then he gets his head popped. Mm-hmm. And Kingpin looks at everyone's like, any questions? Vincent D'Onofrio, man. He can deliver.
Yeah, he does.
And then last one is just Gallo pleading with Sheila to see what's going on. And he says, there's still some sane people in this building, and I bet you're one of them. And then he got his head popped. So I guess he was wrong. All right, that's my quote.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was great. It was a great episode. I'm looking forward to the next season. I'm looking forward to watching it again sometime.
Yeah, same here. I'll definitely do the season finale again just to watch it over again. Probably in prep for season 2 when it comes out. So they are filming currently, everybody. And
we're going to do a recap before season 2 comes out.
We could probably do that in, I would say 3 months just for fun.
Because I'm gonna be finished with
everything
by then. Mm-hmm. So
hold on, no. You got Daredevil season.
Okay, I'm gonna be finished with Daredevil.
You got
by the time Daredevil Punisher, comes back,
and then
we'll definitely do some kind of a recap before the next season comes
Punisher.
out.
Baby steps, Mark. Baby steps.
I know, and Luke Cage. Oh my, that was a good show. Anyhow. That was a bit of our coverage on Daredevil season 1 of Daredevil Born Again, and for the finale, and that was fun, and I love that talk. A little bit of comic book news or stuff that's coming out there. Fantastic Four, the trailer has officially dropped, and it was great, and I'm looking forward to that. But I'm looking more forward to, of all things, the Thunderbolts. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's a renegade ragtag kind of group. But
is that Marvel's version of Suicide Squad?
Technically, if you think about it, yes.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I'm not familiar with that. I'm learning a lot about Marvel as I go.
The thing about the Thunderbolts, to me, it reminds me of how when Guardians of the Galaxy came out initially, nobody was expecting that movie. Nobody cared for these characters from that series and that comic. And James Gunn, out of the blue, said, hey, I'm going to do this for Marvel because they had licensing, and it became a huge hit. Now we had a taste of Bucky, which just dropped recently this past Tuesday, everybody. If you did not get it, Captain America Brave New World, and Bucky was in there to show up for Sam at one point. Senator Bucky, which is so funny. Anyhow, but we get all these cool advertisements or advertisements and these trailers that are going on about the Thunderbolts, and I'm looking forward to it more and more. And we will be covering the Thunderbolts. We'll also be covering Fantastic Four as well, and whatever comes our way. I have been on a whole Captain America streak recently, so I've been downloading older films that you can't find anymore. Captain America 1979, Captain America 1980, and Captain America 1990. If you'll remember that. So we might actually do a one-off just to talk about those. I know a lot of people like, oh, those are terrible. Yeah, what? You know what? It's history. It's Marvel history. And I do love it. And I grew up on that stuff. So, but anyhow, look forward to Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and whatever else comes our way. So now we're into podcast recommendations. So do you guys have any podcast recommendations? I have not personally been listening to a lot of podcasts, but I have a few that I would recommend.
Well, I recommend. Go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say, I don't really have any. I've just having come back from vacation. I really haven't had a chance to catch up on stuff. I'm trying to listen to some of the older Podcastica stuff. I was trying to get caught up on Yellow Jackets, WTF. Which if you're a Yellow Jackets fan, that's on Podcastica. And again, just I'm gonna look into Andor. I haven't watched any of Andor yet, but I want to check out season 1 before season 2 comes out. Yeah, so I don't really have anything.
I'm recommending The Handmaid's Tale with Daphne and Wendy, and they had a special guest this week, and I wish I could remember that young lady's name, but it was so good. It was so good. They're doing a great job of the coverage of the show, but they're doing I like how they're using their voice to kind of talk about how it compares to current world events, and it's so good. So they're on Podcastica, and then over on Pirate Core, I do want to recommend Mandy's podcast, Dinner for Her, for those for the ladies out there and men out there who love to hear about impressive women in history. She's doing a really great job, and I'm going to be on her podcast next episode, and I'm scared for what we're gonna have to eat, but we'll learn more about that later. But yeah, check out Dinner for Her.
Yeah, definitely Dinner for Her.
Doing a great job.
Yeah, that can be found on the Pirate Core Entertainment.com, or if you go to our Facebook page, it would be best. Right now, we're still under construction for the Pirate Core Entertainment.com, but you can find that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything else. I do highly recommend TV Podcast Industries. They are covering pretty much what we're covering here, but I like to give people an option to listen to 2 different versions or analysis of these shows. And I think Derek and John and their friends are doing perfectly well with what they do when it comes to Daredevil, Born Again, and all the other shows that are out there. I'm like, they cover so much. They actually do cover Andor and things of that nature, and I just love them to death. Same thing with Kirk Manley and his friend, and they're doing that on the Marvel Cast on Podcast as well. So give them and show them some love as well. As you guys all know, Kirk Manley did our artwork for a podcast, and give love to Kirk Manley. And you could find that on the PirateCoreEntertainment.com website. You could click links, and you could actually, get him to do some artwork for you for a certain price. Talk to him. Anyhow, he can be found in a lot of conventions coming up soon. As far as feedback, we didn't get any, but it always happens. Yeah, but honestly, a lot of people are like me. I like to listen, and I don't send in feedback. A lot of the Podcastica stuff, you'll laugh, I listen to, and I don't send as much feedback as I used to back in the day. But when I do, it kind of gets lost in the shuffle and everything. But if you wanted to, all you have to do is literally go to our Facebook page. That would be Panels to Pixels. Facebook.com/ panels to pixels. And then, you'll see an image of what we're covering. All you have to do is leave the comment down below. Whatever is in Facebook is on Instagram. So it's the same thing, same feed. So if you write it, we'll read it. You could email us at panels2pixels1@gmail.com. That's panels, 2 is spelled out TO, pixels, and the number 1@gmail.com. Write your thoughts out, or if you really, really want to, you could record yourself, and with, through today's technology, you can record yourself and just add that as an attachment, and we'll play it. And it's as if you're on the actual podcast yourself. A lot of these podcasts are also on YouTube as well. So all you have to do is search for Panels to Pixels podcast on YouTube. Ring the bell, subscribe, and if you like what we're doing, give it a thumbs up. And then if you put a message in the previous podcast about what you want to talk about, we'll be able to read it. And that'll be helpful as well. And we could be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast player of choice. If there's a rating or review, which there are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, please do so. 5 stars are greatly appreciated. And I always ask everybody to just be honest. I'm very honest in what I do. And with that, that's about it. That's how you can reach us for anything if you have any suggestions. But we're at the point where can listeners hear you? So, Becky?
I can be heard here on Panels to Pixels, a Journal and Cinema podcast, and my very own podcast, What's On Tonight, where we just wrapped our coverage of the incredible, amazing first season of The Pit. We will be releasing an interview with one of the cast members we spoke with next week. And then we are going to take a week off, do a binge watch of the full season, and then we will do a season 1 recap with a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Awards and feedback from our very amazing listeners. So check us out.
Awesome. Steve?
Well, and I can be heard right here on Panels to Pixels podcast. And also you might hear my voice on various other podcasts that I send voicemails to for feedback part. But mostly here on Panels to Pixels and occasionally on a Journal and Cinema and just wherever I can jump in and get heard.
Awesome. And as always, you can hear me on Panels to Pixels as always, you probably don't like me. I'm the host. I just do what I do. Anyhow, I also do a Journal and Cinema podcast, as well as the Pirate Core Entertainment Music podcast. So we already have 2 under our belt for the Pirate Core Music podcast. And we did Jagged Little Pill. So you heard Becky on that. And then we had our friend Rima Joe, who was on, who is the host of Strange Indeed, that is found on Podcastica. She does Stranger Things, and wow, she covers a lot on there too, but I'm not going to go into it. But anyhow, we did Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. Coming up next, my friend Rob and I will be covering Iron Maiden, their 50-year journey, for the Pirate Core Music podcast. And then we'll be covering Rad from 1986 on Adrenaline and Cinema podcast. You could hear myself and Jerry Gomez in the near future. We're going to be doing Conquest of Planet of the Apes that came out in the late 70s. Not going to give the exact date, everybody, but it's old. Anyhow, look forward to that stuff. And I could be found there. So that's about it. And I think that's about it for this particular podcast. So I just want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And I'm Becky.
Same podcast, different panel, different pixel. This was Panels to Pixels podcast, and we'll see you on the next panel. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.